Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Jhody Prastyo. I'm from Fatmawati. It's my final exam and I'm here to do a presentation to solve all the problem and cases for Apply Linguistics project. Uh, Problems number 1. Mr. Thompson is a linguist studying the use of language in news reporting. He is particularly interested in how language can convey bias, shape public opinion, and influence the perception of news events. Mr. Thompson analyzes articles from various news outlets covering the same events to identify linguistic patterns that might indicate bias. He also considers the impact of these linguistic choices on the audience understanding and interpretation of the news. My answer to solve this case is, well, first this question. The question is, what linguistic features should Mr. Thompson focus on to identify bias in news reporting? Discuss at least 3 features and explain how they can contribute to bias reporting. My answer is, first one is, you have to word choice. What is the definition of the word choice? It's the specific words and phrases used in the article. My explanation is, words carry connotation that can influence readers' perception. For instance, using the words freedom fighters versus terrorists to describe the same group can shape the audience views of their actions. Positive or negative adjectives, either it's successful or failed, can supply, convey approval or disapproval. Words can have implied meanings that evoke certain feelings. For example, calling a group of freedom fighters suggests they are heroic, while terrorist implies they are violent and unjust. Descriptive words like successful or fail can influence readers' opinions. Using positive words can show approval, while negative words can express disapproval, shaping how readers view the subject. These choices of words can significantly affect the audience's perception and understanding of the news event. 2 is framing. The definition of framing is the way in which information is presented, including the structure and emphasis of certain aspect of the story. Framing plays a pivotal role in shaping public perception and understanding of events by emphasizing certain aspects while downplaying others, by highlighting economic impacts over humanitarian concerns. For instance, media and communicators can effectively steer the audience's attention and shape their opinions. The selective framing can influence the overall narrative surrounding an event, potentially altering how it is interpreted and discussed by different audiences. Such framing not only impacts immediate perception but also contributes to broader societal discussion and policy debate, illustrating the powerful role of communication in shaping public discourse and decision making. The third one is quotation and attribution. Well, the definition is the use of direct quotes and attribution of statement to specific sources. My explanation is, quoting important figures or presenting only one perspective can indeed lend an air of credibility and authority to a particular viewpoint by prominently featuring statements from influential individuals or groups. Communicators can shape audience perceptions, often leading to increased trust in the portrayed perspective. However, the selective portrayal can also result in a skewed understanding of complex issues by meeting alternative viewpoints or dissenting voices. Ignoring or excluding diverse opinions from the narrative can hinder readers' ability to grasp the full complexity of a story. It limits their exposure to different perspectives, potentially leading to a narrow or biased interpretation of events. This approach not only impacts the depth of understanding among audiences but also contributes to polarization and misinformation within public discourse. Effective communication should strive for inclusivity and balance, presenting a range of perspectives to foster a more comprehensive understanding of issues. By acknowledging and integrating the diverse viewpoints, communicator can enrich the discourse, promote critical thinking, and empower audiences to form informed opinions based on a more complete picture of the topic at hand. So, in conclusion, from this question is by examining these features, word choice, framing, and quotation and attribution, Mr. Thompson can uncover biases in news articles and better understand how language shapes public opinion and perception. And the questions number 2. Imagine you're a language planner working for the government of a country with a diverse linguistics landscape. The country has several indigenous languages spoken by different ethnic of groups, as well as a dominant national language used for official purposes. Your task is to develop a language policy that promotes linguistic diversity while ensuring effective communication and national unity. The question is, how can the government promote the use and preservation of indigenous languages through education? If it's bilingual education. What is bilingual education? In here, you can offer programs where students learn both the national language and indigenous languages, helping them speak both language very well. And why it helps? Because this allows students to learn and become good at speaking both languages, preserving the indigenous language while also helping them communicate in the national language. Encouraging students to learn and professionally speak both their indigenous language and the national language offers multifaceted benefits. Firstly, it serves as a crucial mechanism for the preservation and continuity of indigenous languages, which are often at risk of decline due to factors like urbanization, globalization, and cultural assimilation. By fostering proficiency in these languages among younger generations, educational institutions contribute to the cultural heritage and identity of indigenous communities, ensuring that their linguistic tradition endure for future generations. Second is curriculum development. Include indigenous languages in school subjects like history and literature to encourage their use and understanding. Well, why it helps? Encouraging students to engage deeply with and understand both their indigenous languages and the national language is crucial for integrating these languages into everyday learning and ensuring their vitality within cultural contexts. By embedding indigenous languages into educational curricula and daily activities, institutions not only promote linguistic proficiency but also reinforce the cultural significance and identity tied to these languages. Integrating indigenous languages into educational settings fosters a sense of pride and belonging among students. connecting them more deeply with their cultural heritage and community tradition. This inclusion not only acknowledges the historical and cultural contributions of indigenous peoples, but also strengthens cultural resilience against pressures of assimilation and language loss. Third one is teacher training. Train teachers from indigenous groups to teach in their languages, making lessons more relevant and accurate. When teachers use indigenous languages in the classroom, the lessons become more relevant and accurate for students. It helps students to learn in a language they are familiar with, making education more accessible and meaningful. Additionally, it preserves and promotes the use of indigenous languages, ensuring they remain a vital part of the community's culture and identity. This approach also respects and values the cultural heritage of the students, it's fostering a sense of pride and belonging. The fourth one is resource development. Here you can create books and digital materials in indigenous languages to help with reading and learning. Collaborate with linguistics experts, educators, and community members to create a wide range of resources that cater to different age groups and educational levels. These materials can include basic language, primers for young children, advanced textbooks for older students, and engaging storybooks that reflect the cultural heritage and tradition of the indigenous communities. Additionally, develop digital resources such as ebooks, educational apps, and online platforms that provide interactive and multimedia content in indigenous language. Having books and digital materials in indigenous languages supports reading and learning by providing students with resources in their native language. It helps improve literacy rates among indigenous communities and makes learning more engaging and effective. These resources also serve as valuable tools for the teachers, enabling them to provide high quality education that respects and incorporates the linguistics and cultural backgrounds of their students. Furthermore, creating such material helps preserve and promote indigenous languages, ensuring they are passed down to future generations and remain a vibrant part of the community's cultural identity. Language immersion programs. Set up programs where young children learn in indigenous languages, helping them become fluent early on. Immersing children in indigenous languages from an early age helps them develop fluency naturally and effortlessly. Early exposure to a language is crucial for achieving native-like proficiency and retaining the language into adulthood. These programs not only promote language skills but also foster a deep connection to cultural heritage and identity. By learning in their indigenous languages, children can better understand and appreciate their tradition and history. Furthermore, language immersion programs contribute to the revitalization and preservation of indigenous languages, ensuring they remain a living part of the community for future generations. Such programs also create a strong foundation for bilingual or multilingual education, as children can more easily acquire additional languages later on. In conclusion, all this initiative collectively will surely contribute to the preservation and revitalization of indigenous languages, ensuring they remain vibrant and integral to the cultural identity of the future generation. Well, that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.